Dan Illman taking a look at the co-feature race at Oaklawn Park on Monday. It's the Grade 3 Razorback Handicap for older horses. Our coverage is presented by DRF Bets. If you sign up for a new DRF Bets account, you will access a $200 free bet, no deposit required, at drf.com/join. Please use the promo code FREEBET09. Let's take a look at the field for the Razorback. We're going to go 1 1/16 at Oaklawn Park, carded as race number 8 on President's Day Monday. Let's take the field in post position order. We have pre-morning line odds, pre-program changes as we film this on Friday afternoon. We'll begin with Untrapped. And Untrapped finished 4th last time out in the 5th season stakes, the local prep for the Razorback. That was his 4-year-old debut, and it was kind of a perplexing race for me. He drew a very tough outside post position, post 11 of 12, and he was hung out 3 wide and about from the 4 and 5 path on the backstretch. It also seemed like Untrapped was running in spots. He was outpaced a bit on the turn, ended up in behind horses with really nowhere to go as the field swung into the stretch, and then he altered course down towards the inside where there was even more traffic issues. With all that, Untrapped still finished okay to finish 4th. I think he could certainly move forward in his second start of the form cycle. Trip handicappers have to ask themselves after watching Untrapped's 5th season run, was he compromised by the traffic in front of him, or did he simply have no run? I like that Steve Asmussen is adding blinkers to Untrapped. It does 2 things in the Razorback. It might give this horse back the focus that he lacked in the 5th season, and it also could infuse some speed into his arsenal. He draws a very comfortable inside post position, and I think if his jock is aggressive coming out of the gate, Untrapped can grab a good forward position. 1 1/16 I think is okay for Untrapped. I would prefer him at a 1-turn mile, but I think on his best day, he is a very logical contender in this year's Razorback Handicap. Far Right has always done good work at Oaklawn Park. Heck, he won the Smarty Jones and the Southwest back in 2015, and his 5th season might indicate that he is slowly returning to form as he returned to his favorite track. He ran a good 3rd that day behind Sonneteer. Perhaps he moved into the race a bit early. Sonneteer came from far, far back. Far Right always is a kind of horse that needs a little bit of pace help, but that last 94 Beyer speed figure, his career best, perhaps indicates he's trending in the right direction. I'm a big fan of the number 3 Hakam, and I think he is a strong contender in this spot for trainer Wes Hawley. He was 2nd in last year's Razorback, but just consider who won last year's Razorback, a horse named Gunrunner. There are certainly no gun runners in this year's Razorback. Hakam ran 3rd last time out at the Fairgrounds in the Louisiana Stakes. The top 2 finishers that day, Cedartown and Scuba, returned to the Fairgrounds on Saturday. We'll see how they did. Maybe they flattered Hawakam's performance. When I watched the Louisiana, I thought that Hawakam was using that race merely as a prep. He never strayed from the inside. Mugolomena did not beat him up. He passed a couple of tired ones in the stretch. He galloped out nicely. I think Hawakam used that race as a building block for the Razorback, and if you give this horse a little bit of pace, he'll come running at the end. He's a must-use in multiple race wagers. The 4 is J-Boy's Echo, best known for winning the Grade 3 Gotham over eventual Preakness winner Cloud Computing. He earned a 102 Beyer speed figure at this distance that day at Aqueduct over the now defunct inner track. He also got a perfect trip that afternoon. You could argue that in his subsequent 3 starts he was compromised by circumstance. No pace to run at in the Bluegrass, tough trip while overmatched in the Kentucky Derby, tough trip when perhaps overmatched in the Belmont Stakes. Del Romans gave him plenty of time to recover from those tough Triple Crown performances. He's come back, he's finished 2nd twice, most recently the beaten favorite in a key race in a blanket finish. I'm not sure if he's ever going to look as good as he did in the Gotham off of that perfect trip, but he's a lightly raced 4-year-old that might still have some upside. He's likely to take some money. If he's a little bit overbet, I'd try to beat him in this spot. Not so with the number 5 Leofric, who, like Hakam, is a horse that I have to use in any kind of multiple race wager. This horse has won 4 of his last 5 starts for trainer Brad Cox, and while he's going to be stepping up in class for the first time, I think he beat a stakes caliber field in his allowance race over this track on January the 14th. He beat Thirst for Life, who's going to be running against Cedartown and Scuba at the Fairgrounds on Saturday, and another horse coming out of that race, Warriors Club, came back to win his next start. He's now Beyered 90 or greater in his last 4 races, and if you just give this horse a little bit of pace, he's going to come running late. The argument can certainly be made that he's the horse with the most upside in this field. The 6 is Sonneteer, who's really improved in blinkers for trainer Keith DeZormo. The wide outside rally was kind of where you wanted to be in the 5th season stakes, and Sonneteer used that move to perfection. He's always run well at Oaklawn, but I kind of want to see that move one more time from him in this race. That last race, a 96 Beyer speed figure, it came over a wet track. We're expecting wet weather all weekend long at Oaklawn Oaklawn Park. If it is dry, it is worth noting he is 0 for 10 on fast dirt. I've always been a fan of the 7 Shotgun Cowboy. He went gate to wire in a local prep race, an allowance race here on February the 3rd. While he did win the Oklahoma Derby back in 2015 and has won 10 of 25 starts and has earned $1 million in earnings, I do wonder if he's slightly less than graded stakes class at this point in his career. I do respect his tactical speed. Rated R Superstar came from the back of the pack to win his 5-year-old debut, most recently over track and trip, sloppy track at that, at Oaklawn on January the 27th. It only earned an 89 Beyer speed figure, however, and like Untrapped, I might prefer him at slightly shorter distances at this point in time. Rocking the boat like Leofric is a lightly raced horse with a ton of upside potential. He's just a little bit slow right now on Beyer speed figures. After 6 starts, he's only earned an 87 as his best. Second in his first start of the year, a race that he could certainly build on, but I think a minor award might be a ceiling in this spot. The number 10 Futile I thought might have run one of the better races in the 5th season. While Sonneteer and Far Right and Untrapped were coming from mid-pack or further back, Futile did a lot of dirty work on the lead or pressing. He opened up a big lead in the stretch and he just was run down by Sonneteer in the shadow of the wire. You would have thought that that race would have set up a winning effort as the favorite in an optional claiming race at Oaklawn on January the 27th, but Rated R Superstar kicked him down nearing the shadow of the wire. Futile is a horse that is really much improved for trainer Chris Hartman, and he's another horse with good tactical speed who can be very forwardly placed. You just have to ask yourself, is he going to run his 5th season, or is he going to kind of revert to the mean, his optional claiming race of last time? The Lieutenant draws a tough outside post position, and he completes the field. An optional claiming winner at Los Alamitos 2 starts back. He was just a bit overmatched against Accelerate in the Grade 2 San Pasquale most recently. That race featured, that day featured at Santa Anita a very strong rail. The Lieutenant had to come out going into the stretch. Maybe that hurt him a bit. This post position, though, he's going to have to really run to overcome it. Let's take a look at my pick for the Grade 3 Razorback Handicap. For me, it's a spread race, but I'm really interested to see what Untrapped does with blinkers and an aggressive ride from this inside post position. Again, he was in behind horses most of the way, but it's hard to lean on Untrapped because he's been an in-and-outer for most of his career. I would also use the 3 Hakam, the 5 Leofric in any kind of multiple race wagers. If you're playing the Monday Oaklawn Park card from home, please consider DRF bets. If you sign up for DRF bets right now, you can access a $200 free bet with no deposit required. And all you have to do is go to drf.com/join and use the promo code FREEBET09. Race number 8 at Oaklawn Park on Monday is the Grade 3 Razorback Handicap. Best of luck.